Walaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah.
Salam, how you doing?
Start recording. Alright, I'm here with Sister Thuriyyah. Can you state your whole name?
Sister Thuriyyah, Z01B.
Z01B.
Thuriyyah.
O1?
Z.
Oh, Sister Thuriyyah, Z?
Z is my middle name.
Oh.
Here, that's my middle name.
Oh, okay.
Last name is A-L.
Mm-hmm.
W-A-N.
Mm-hmm.
Hyphen.
Mm-hmm.
B-E-Y-A-H.
I'm gonna ask you, well, just right off the front, were you born with that name?
No, my name that was given to me.
Yeah. So if I ask you any question you don't want to answer, just say I don't want to answer that question. Okay. So go ahead.
My mother named me Lillian.
She named you Lillian. Okay.
Lillian.
And where were you born at?
Trenton, New Jersey.
Trenton. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were born in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay. Alright. How about your parents? You knew both your parents?
Yes, I still have. They're still living.
Both of them?
My father and my father. My father.
And what were their names?
My father's name was Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
I won't tell you the middle name because he don't like for anybody to know it. But it was John Hillary Pitts.
Okay.
And my mother was Beatrice Minor.
Okay. You have any brothers and sisters?
Well, I have 5 brothers and 5 sisters. 2 of my brothers passed, and 1 of my sisters. There's 11 of us.
Oh, one of your sisters was 11 when she passed?
No, it was 11 of us.
Oh,
children.
it was 11. Okay. You got 2 brothers that passed and 1 sister that passed.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any children?
No, unfortunately, but my sisters and brothers have been my children, and my nieces and my nephews.
Yeah.
You know, Allah says that I'm still a mother, whether I bring any in this world or not.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Have you ever married?
Yes, I've been married twice.
Been married twice. You mind if I ask you their names?
My first husband was Kiam. His name was Kiam Abdul Kiam.
Okay.
And my second husband was Ramadan Muhammad.
Are you still married?
No, divorced. Both those cases.
Okay. All right. I want to ask you some questions. It's pretty much about your environment when you was a child. I know you said you grew up in New Jersey. What was it like? As a matter of fact, how long were you in New Jersey?
Well, I was in New Jersey until I was about, we left New Jersey in 1940. I was born in 34, so I was about 6 years old, going on 7.
Okay.
When we moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania.
Oh, so you moved to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay. I didn't know if it was appropriate for me to ask you your birth date. Is that okay?
Yeah, I was born April 2nd, 1934.
April
I was
2nd.
72 in April.
Okay. So April 2nd, 1934. Okay. All right. So I guess it's pretty much moving from New Jersey, or your life in New Jersey. Is it a blur? You
No,
remember anything?
I remember going to school. I remember the first school I went to was elementary school. I think I was in I don't remember being in kindergarten. I think I was in 1st grade. And I remember...
you remember the name of the school?
I sure don't. I don't remember the school. It was in Hightstown, New Jersey.
Okay.
And then I used to go to school near my house, so I didn't have to walk far. And then they built the school, and we had to walk about 4 miles to school.
Oh. And that was like every day?
Yes, every school day, in the cold, It would be cold going
Yeah.
walking.
Walking. But did you at that time? Did you see it as hardship, or you just see it as something you had to do?
Well, being 3 or 4 years old,
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 years old, I didn't like it because it was cold, but it didn't. It didn't
It's
phase me
something
as
you
being
had.
a hardship.
Right.
It was something
Okay.
that I had to do.
Okay. So you all moved to Pennsylvania. Do you
Mm.
know the reasoning behind the movement? Move to
I
Pennsylvania?
think because my dad thought that he could do better there.
Okay. So mostly work. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in Pennsylvania, how long were you in Pennsylvania?
Up until I was 16,
16.
15, because I left home when I was 15.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me anything about your environment while you was in Pennsylvania? How was life in Pennsylvania?
Kind of rough.
It was kind of rough.
It was rough because we were in a two-room apartment,
Mhm.
and it was about, oh, at one time it was about, let's see, how many children was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was probably about 8 children. It was 11 of us. The last ones were babies. It was about 11 of us. I mean,
Wow.
8 of us,
Uh-huh.
beside my father and mother,
Mother.
in 2 rooms.
Ooh.
It was
That wasn't
a
that
bad
one.
situation.
Yeah.
Uh, it was something.
It was something out there. I can
Yeah.
imagine it was. How was when you went to school? What was school like in Pennsylvania?
I liked going to school, but it was embarrassing for me because sometimes I had shoes with holes in them.
Mm-hmm.
I had to take newspaper and put in there, keep my feet from being
Cold.
cold or
Yeah.
feet on the ground.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Clothes, hand-me-downs.
Mm-hmm. Was the area you was in or where you live was the majority of people somewhat in the same condition that you was in?
Well, to a degree,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the men that worked around the area that were married and had families, they worked.
No, I mean like your friends. Friends went to
My
school with you.
friends, oh,
Yeah, big family, small house.
they lived in the projects.
Mm-hmm. So
Uh,
you all were you in the projects?
they wouldn't let us get a project. They wouldn't let my father get a project, even though we had all those children.
Is that right?
I counted it as a blessing, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know life in projects. You know that.
Yeah, rough,
Yeah.
rough.
Right.
Well,
Right.
I grew up with a lot of kids in the neighborhood. We always neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
and we had our friends and set.
Mm-hmm. So
But it was rough.
it was
It was
rough.
rough.
When you say rough, are you talking about like fighting, or you just talking about poverty?
Property,
Poverty.
property,
Mm-hmm.
and they had fights, but because there was so many of us in our family, we didn't have no problem.
Oh, okay.
I was next to the oldest, then my brother, and
Mm-hmm.
then my sisters under me. We was rough.
Oh, okay.
They
So,
didn't bother us.
so
We was a big family.
okay. So when you
Big
know,
family, you don't have no problem.
yeah, I see. I see. Yeah.
Yeah, we were fighters.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. So you said that you left home at the age of 15.
Yes,
What was
because I was just tired of staying in 2 rooms,
mm,
not having anything, and I thought perhaps I could get a job or something like that.
does that mean you left school?
Yeah, I left school. I was in 11. They had passed me to 11, the second half of 11th grade,
Mm-hmm.
and I quit.
And you quit.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back and get your degree or anything like that?
I got my GED.
You got your
Then
GED?
I went to college for a while.
Alhamdulillah.
So I had, they had just brought in the equal opportunity thing.
EOC.
Yes, and so I went to KCMO,
Mm-hmm.
and the African American there he was helping the African Americans get in.
Mm-hmm.
I took the SCAT test, and they said it wasn't enough, but he said I was passing.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been a C, but it was passing. It was enough for me to get into college.
Close the door. Just put it in your pocket. Close the door.
So
Okay.
that's why I was able to get in college, because he helped me out.
Okay. You said something about KMOC.
It's Kansas City, Missouri. They call it University of Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. So this is college.
Yeah. I
Okay.
went to college for a while.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Um, just one or two things back in high school. Did you like did they have like social events, things like that, to like give you something to do outside of school? You know, like nowadays we do like basketball, football, things like that.
Yeah, sometimes they had something that I could go to, but since we didn't have any money,
Mhm.
uh, I used to go to, it was like a YMCA, they'd have something.
Okay.
So we'd go to
Go there.
YMCA.
Okay.
And then my teacher, that was my night teacher, she would come to the house and talk to Mom about me because I was in a special class that they had for students that had a little more going, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was in that class,
Yes.
and she used to come and talk to Mom about my grades and things like that. So she was very interested in it.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
She had helped me out.
That's good.
Like when I went to sewing class or something like that,
Mhm.
when they had, I would wash my clothes because I, keep my clothes clean.
Yes. Yeah.
They had a washing machine, so I'd bring my clothes and wash them.
Oh, you talking about in the class?
In the class.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Let me teach you something.
Yeah, because we did, just with all those children, we'd have just a closet full of dirty clothes that I had to wash them by hand,
Mhm.
scrub board.
Mhm. Okay. Alhamdulillah. So they didn't have them washing machines.
They, we didn't.
Yeah.
And we had the ice box, which you get the ice and put in there.
Mhm.
So I
So
always said that when I get grown, I'm gonna get Mom all the things that she didn't have.
okay. This was like back in the late '40s, early '50s. Then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I know being African American and you
I
hear
got
the
out of school
stories.
in 1951.
You got out of school in 1951. That was high school, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Back during that time, did you have any racial problems, or
Yes, one that really affected me
you want to tell
in
us
my
about it?
schooling. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
they were testing the children, so they took me. They took me. I guess it was the Board of Education. They took me up there, and they would show me a puzzle. And they want me to do that puzzle. I did that puzzle so fast. He said, "You finished already?" I said, "Yes." Then I did something else, and I finished it, but they never did tell me what my results was, and that really affected me.
Mhm.
It kind of gave me inferiority complex.
Oh, okay. So I guess the people you was dealing with was Caucasians or
Yes.
European Americans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What when they talked to you, did they talk down at you or real stern, or they was nice?
No, well, no, they were all right.
They was
It's
okay.
just that whenever I finished things so quickly,
Mhm.
they wanted to know, was I finished already?
Yeah.
You finished already? Yes.
Mhm.
Puzzles and things like that, I was good with my hands.
Okay.
Um, but what upset me is, because I asked my teacher, I said, "Did you get the test back yet?" Because they said they would let me know
Yeah.
what I passed or whatever.
Mhm.
Never did.
Oh, okay.
That affected me even in coming up to be a grown up.
Mhm.
It bothered me that I never did get that results. Because I thought that with it, I must have had something going for me,
Mhm.
and they wouldn't let me know.
Oh, okay. Man, I heard that. Have you, were you, when you was, say back in high school, during that time in your life, did you have any spiritual guidance? You know,
Always did, because my father was Moorish American.
he was what?
Moorish American.
Moorish.
Mm-hmm.
What is
Noble
that?
Drew Ali, have you heard of Noble Drew Ali?
I heard of him. Yeah.
He started the Moorish American movement in the United States because he was much like Marcus Garvey. He was upset the way African Americans were treated here,
Mhm.
and he had visited Morocco,
Mhm.
and that's when he found the Quran and El Islam.
Mhm.
But what he did, he kind of changed it around. When he came back here to America,
Oh.
and he found out that he couldn't gather up all the African Americans and take them over to Morocco.
Oh, okay.
So he brought it
He
here,
brought it here.
and he wrote the Quran. They call it
Is that right?
Koran.
He translated the Quran?
He did.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. But he didn't do it exactly the way the Quran is.
Mm.
So he kind of did it the way he wanted it.
Oh.
So it was a big following of Moorish Americans.
Moorish Americans.
Hmm.
So you seen your father as someone who was strong.
Oh yeah, he was.
He
My
was
family was strong. My aunt, his aunt,
Mm-hmm.
she helped. She'd cook for Noble Ali. He'd stay at her house. So he was in contact with that.
All right, so you don't have this thing I see others have
Right.
as far as weak family structure.
Right.
You have a strong family structure.
Right. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I see where you get your personality from.
Yes, sir, I
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Alhamdulillah. Um, all right. Another question before we get off into the meat of thing. You said you left school at the age of 15,
Yes.
1950,
It was 50 by the time I got here.
1950, and you said you was going out on your own. How did you, as a person at that time, go out and be on your
Well,
own?
what I did, I talked with, it was some of my neighbors that lived around the corner from us,
Mm-hmm.
and I grew up with their children. And so what I did, I told her I was leaving home, so she had a son about 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if I could stay with you and take care of him, you'd pay me.
Oh,
She let me do that.
alhamdulillah. So you was close to home then, also.
Yeah, I was in Philadelphia, but they lived in North Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took care of him. It wasn't long though, because what happened, he ran out the door, and he shouldn't have, because he might have got hit by the car or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I beat his behind him. He told his mom, but she didn't like that.
Uh-oh.
So she told me I had to go.
Oh.
So when that happened, I went to New Jersey, my mother's house, my grandmother's house.
Okay.
So she told me if I worked and paid her
Mm-hmm.
rent, I could stay with her.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think what I did, I went and it was in the summer, so they had a factory up there where they canned tomatoes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up there and was doing that.
Oh, okay. So you worked in a factory job
Yeah.
in New Jersey.
Well, in Jersey, it wasn't no big place. They just canned tomatoes and potatoes and berries and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked there until it closed, the winter.
Okay.
And I really, some of it I just don't remember right now, but I survived it.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed with her a good while.
Mm-hmm.
Then my cousin helped me.
Mhm.
We stayed with my grandmother.
Okay. In New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you see that as hard life, or you just seen it as just you was at a period in your life where it was like
Well, it wasn't easy.
it wasn't
but,
easy.
And I didn't, with the knowledge I have today that it's a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about that. I just said I'm gonna do it.
Mm. Okay. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's
I would scrub floors, whatever it took to make, not doing something bad, but
right. Right.
manual labor, some
Mhm.
kind. Scrub people's floors or do something like that
Mm.
to make money.
All right. Well, I know a little bit about you as far as I know that you was in the Nation of Islam, right?
Yeah.
Can you
Yes.
can you tell me when you was introduced to the Nation of Islam?
1955.
In 1955.
Mm-hmm. I heard. See, my dad, he made the little ones go, but I wasn't home then.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, my mom, she finally decided she was going to accept it too.
Mm. Oh, so your dad, he was also in the Nation of Islam.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he helped to get a number 12 together, by
Mhm.
donations and helping out and doing things like that.
Well, huh. So at one point in his life, he had to switch from Moorish American
Mhm.
to the
He
Nation
did.
of Islam.
He did. Yeah.
Well, do you know anything as far as why he made the switch, or what was the circumstances around
Well,
that?
actually, I don't know why he made the switch, but I guess it's because something had happened as far as the Moorish science was concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like kind of going down or
Oh.
fading out.
Mm-hmm.
So and he heard about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Dr. Farad, so
Mm-hmm.
he started working with the brothers up there, and that's what happened
Okay. And this was in New Jersey, or was it in Philadelphia?
in Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia.
Mhm.
Okay.
Number 12. I went Philadelphia.
Okay.
But see, I wasn't there. I was By that time, I was working.
In New Jersey.
Yeah, I was working General Motors. I got a job at General Motors, so I wasn't doing too bad.
Okay.
Allah always blessed me with a good job.
Alhamdulillah.
Make good money during those days. $200 or $300 a week. That was good money.
That was good
then.
money. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, I went back to New Jersey.
That was, the General Motors job.
Yeah.
That's in New
Yeah,
Jersey.
that was in Trenton, New Jersey.
So what turned? Well, I know you say your father was a part of the Nation of Islam. But
Yeah.
what drew you personally to the Nation of Islam?
Because all my family was in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I said, well, I accepted myself.
Mhm.
I wrote a letter. I wrote almost a perfect letter because being artists in our family, we know how to draw.
Mhm.
My brother, he used to draw fashions and stuff.
Mhm.
And I could look at somebody and I could draw their face, their features.
Okay.
So when they sent the letter out,
Mhm.
it was almost just exactly like the letter, but they didn't accept it.
Oh.
Actually, they didn't accept my letter. I sent it twice. I said, they just one little thing. They
Oh,
wouldn't
that was
accept
real
it.
critical, huh?
Yes, very much so.
Oh.
And I sent it back. So actually, I didn't get my letter till 1972.
That's when you got it accepted.
Yeah.
Boy, that was.
But I was upset. There was something that happened, and I didn't want to come into the community
Mhm.
and doing wrong.
I see. I
So
see.
actually, I stayed away for 20 years.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
But everything they had,
Mhm.
conventions, everything.
Mhm.
I had a car.
Mhm.
I'd go get my family and take them to it.
Yeah.
We'd go to Chicago,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Have you ever met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Yes, sir. Shook his hand and Sister Claire too.
Alhamdulillah. Can you tell me just a little bit about that
Well,
that
we
meeting?
had went to Baltimore, Maryland. Hassan Kareem's father.
Mhm.
What's his first name? Kareem. Their father, anyway.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He was the minister there in Baltimore.
Oh.
And he did very well. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had a lot of faith in him, and he held him in high esteem. Because he was a hard worker. And he got a building in Baltimore, and they had restaurants, business, things like that. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was down in Baltimore that weekend, and I got the family, and we drove down there.
Baltimore is close to New Jersey.
Yeah, it's close. We in Philadelphia don't take this long.
Oh, New Jersey and Philadelphia is real close.
Yeah, it's Delaware, Pennsylvania, Delaware.
All together.
Yeah. So we go through Pennsylvania out there near the airport and go to Delaware and then go to Baltimore. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. But when you met him, were you like, did you go on the stage and meet him, or you sitting down? He came by you and you shook his hand.
It was in the building, and what he said, he was shaking everybody's hand. Everybody went up, shook him and Sister Clara Muhammad's hand in the temple. That brother Hassan Kareem had gotten. Yeah. And then I got close to the family too, because I was a mail carrier. So I used to carry mail for. That's when I moved to Detroit.
Oh, okay. Boy, you've been around. You get around.
Yeah.
Okay. So you moved.
States.
You moved to Detroit. You know about what time of year or what year that was?
When was the ride? 67. I went up there in 66, 1966.
All right.
And I started working. Well, I went to General Motors. They didn't take me because I quit General Motors in Trenton. Because I just couldn't stand those strikes. I worked there a couple of years.
Oh, they were striking.
Every year, just about. They'd strike. I said, now how am I going to save money? You're always on a strike. So I just quit. So when I went to Detroit, I tried to get a job there. They wouldn't hire me, so I was working in psychiatric nursing, so I went and got a job at the Mount Sinai Hospital in Detroit.
In Detroit. Okay. So you went there for the job.
Yeah, well, and I liked it. I went up there and I visited, and it was so nice up there. African Americans had they with long lines at the bank, putting their money in the bank.
Oh, is that
They
right?
work at,
So you
yeah.
seen that?
Oh yeah, I said, wow.
Was that
Nice
was?
homes.
Yeah. So
Because they worked at the car.
right, they big for that
And
automotive. GM, right?
General Motors, Ford mostly.
Ford, mostly Detroit.
Chrysler, Ford and Chrysler. And they was making the big money, and they'd be standing in line putting that money in the bank. I said, wow, that's really wonderful. And they had nice homes there. Some of them had 2 or 3 story homes there and everything. Nice. The neighborhoods were nice. So I said, wow, I'd like to stay here. Maybe I can get, make some money and do something.
Yeah,
But I started working for the post office up there.
was there a well, Detroit's also known for the Nation of Islam being in that area too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
It was during that time, Nation of Islam, that I was there.
That's what you said.
And so I started going to the temple there and worked myself up. Be a lieutenant.
Okay. You say there was 1966 when you moved there. Then you made a comment about the riot.
Yes, the riot was 1967, I think. 66 or 67.
What was, I don't
The
know.
riot started on 12th Street. It seems like the police did something to one of them women down in there, and it just started a riot. And that thing just sparked all over Detroit. They was robbing and burning all down in that area, where African Americans are.
Oh.
They were breaking into furniture stores, taking furniture stores, everything. And then it started off in Philadelphia. They rioted in Philadelphia after that.
Did it have something to do with the riot in Detroit?
Yeah.
Was the Nation of Islam involved?
No.
Just the common everybody.
Common folk. It was a prostitute on 12th Street where it all started.
Oh, and the policeman would beat her up or something?
Something happened like that.
She was an African American, I guess. Real.
Yeah.
How was where was you? I mean, was you in the house or?
Well, I lived on Chicago Boulevard in Dexter. It was a beautiful set of apartment buildings there, and I was in the house. I stayed in the house too.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I had a car, and the soldiers came through, and they flattened everybody's tires.
Soldiers? You mean like the U.S. Army?
Reserve, whatever it was.
Yeah. But they tanks or trucks or something?
No, I think they might have took bayonets or something and just stuck a hole in everybody's car that had their car out there. So I stayed in the house. I didn't want to be a part of that stealing and stuff. The people, my neighbors across the hallway, they came back with just a lot of groceries because it was a food store next door to us.
Yeah.
They just took everything out there.
What was the reaction of the masjid, or when you went back in the masjid?
Well, actually, I went in the masjid when they had that riot.
Okay.
I had just decided I was going to go.
Okay.
I wasn't in there then, but one of the brothers used to bring me a Muhammad speech.
Okay. Okay. You said you met Sister Clara, and you also say you met Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Have you ever met any other, say, big name Muslims like Malcolm?
Malcolm, yeah.
You met Malcolm?
See, Malcolm used to come to Philadelphia to the temple there. Minister George, he was the minister there. Minister George and Malcolm used to come, and he wasn't married then. I guess he probably was seeing his Betty then, but he came one day and he was talking, and he's just down to earth person. I said, you want to marry me?
You told that to Malcolm?
Yeah, he just laughed. He said, no. I was 17 then. I think.
Oh, you were 17?
Yeah.
Oh, so that was back in New Jersey.
No, it was in Pennsylvania.
I was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay, in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Okay.
I used to go to visit, because I had a car. After I got a job, I got a car.
Yeah.
So I would be driving all over the place.
Yeah. I know I've seen the different photos of Malcolm, he was tall, right?
Yeah, he was about 6'3", 2 or 3.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Muhammad Ali, because my brothers, they were young, but they were in everybody was Muslim, so they used to drive Muhammad Ali around, chauffeur.
Yeah.
My sister, she worked in a restaurant, so she used to serve them food. My sisters, because they always we were always with the Muslims doing something.
Okay. When did you change your name?
I was the secretary of Temple number 30 in Kansas City, Missouri. That's when my brothers asked me to come to Kansas City, Missouri, because I was in Detroit, and Nathaniel was going around recruiting people.
And what year was this? Remember?
That was in 1970.
1970.
And I left Detroit and
Went to Missouri.
Missouri, yeah, at the secondary. But what happened to me, I got hurt. I was a letter carrier, and I got hurt, so I was on disability. So it was easy to make that move because I was still getting my pension, getting some disability.
Well, you were driving a car or something?
No, delivering mail, and one of the people I was delivering mail must have had their porch painted in the summer, and a snowstorm came up. It was January, I think it was, and a snowstorm came up, and I was walking up on the porch, put the letter in. I must have turned wrong, and my boot, it slipped.
Yeah.
Instead of me go ahead and fall, I tried to stop it, and I got a torn ligament.
Oh, okay.
So I swelled up. It hurt, but I mean, I delivered the rest of my pain. But when I got in, I had to make a report on it. So I'm glad I did, because it wasn't really swollen that bad then, but it really started swelling. So they put me on disability. They wanted to operate. I said, no, you can't operate on my knee.
Why did you choose Thuriyyah? Why did you choose?
Nathaniel gave me that name. That's my personality.
Oh, okay.
Thuriyyah means 3 or more bright and shiny stars.
Okay. I never knew that.
And Zakiya means pure and intelligent. And Alwan means the high place. There's a masjid, and one brother, he explained it to me. He said, in one of the Muslim countries, he told me the country, but I forgot it. He said there's a masjid high up on the hill, and they call it Alwan.
Alwan.
Alwan, that's how they pronounce it. And it means the high place. And Bayan is keeper of the mosque. So I used to be the secretary, but I would clean the bathrooms, and our auditorium hold 1,400 people. And I used to vacuum that place.
And that was a mosque? That was a mosque?
It was a temple at first, but then when the imam came in, had all the pews taken out.
Yes.
It was a church.
Yeah.
Took the pews out, and we sat on the floor. And so Nathaniel, he had this dream of we coat of many colors. So it was all different colors in the auditorium. Beautiful. I got a picture somewhere of it. It's just so beautiful, that the way that he had it. The coat of many colors. That was his thing.
Coat of many colors. This was in Missouri.
That was in Kansas City,
Missouri. Okay.
So I stayed there from 1970 up to 86.
Up to 86.
Yeah, that's when I came here to Texas and got married to Kiana.
Okay. All right. When you say here, you mean like Dallas. Okay.
Kansas City was also very, Nathaniel, he was a very aggressive brother, go out. We had about 600 young people in the temple at that time. Because they would study coming in, And then we did a lot of dawah work there. Talking to ministers at churches and stuff like that. Yeah, we did a lot of that.
You you said when you moved here, you married. Was it Kiam or was it?
It was Kiam.
It was Kiam.
Yeah,
Okay.
Abdul Kiam. Because we had that big march in '83, Craig March here.
I wasn't here.
And the Imam came in, and we had people from all over the country that came for the Craig March. And I met Kiam here in '83, so we kind of
got together and got married.
Got married in '86.
Let me ask you this. I know you was around for the change from Elijah Muhammad to Warith Deen Muhammad.
Yeah.
What was your feelings behind that? Matter of fact, let me stop. What was going on when you heard the news about Elijah Muhammad passing?
Well, I was the secretary of the Temple 30 then, so we knew that he was sick. Because Nathaniel was going back and forth to visit up there with him. So I was kind of close and knew what was going on. And when I lived in Detroit, I was with Sister Clara Vanada. I was her companion. She was about 96 then.
Sister Clara. You ain't talking about Elijah Muhammad. Okay.
But she came up. She was born in Sandersville with Sister Clara Muhammad. Okay. So when they all came up from the south, she was with Clara Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad.
Oh, okay.
She was always. They grew up in the town. She knew them, you know. And so she used to tell me that Dr. Farad had put Warith Deen Muhammad's name on Elijah Muhammad's closet door. And put his name there, where he was going to be named before she got pregnant.
Oh, no.
And he's the seventh child.
You used to set his what?
Imam Warith Deen Muhammad is the seventh child.
Oh, he's the seventh child.
Most big families that have a seventh child, they're a special child.
Oh, okay.
It's a special child.
Alhamdulillah.
Like my brother, Yasha, he's the seventh child. He's always been in something, but Allah always seems to protect him. You know? Yeah. And they honor like Imam Warith Deen Muhammad, you know. When he talk about himself and he tell you what type of person he was. He was one that was Dr. Fry talked about before he was even born. And Sister Clara Vanada used to talk to me about that.
Yeah. So
I knew, you know, that when he came in, Nathaniel thought he was going to be it. But, and you know, he thought he was, but then he used to tell us what happened as far as Wallace is concerned. I don't know why he thought he was going to get it.
Oh.
If it was destined for Wallace to get it.
Yeah. But Nathaniel, was that Imam Muhammad's brother or something?
Yeah, that's his brother.
I see. I didn't know that.
He's let's see, he's older. No, he was younger than Thuriyyah. Her name is Thuriyyah. They named her. Imam Warith Deen named her Thuriyyah. Thuriyyah. Yeah, yes. And that's Nathaniel's sister. So he's younger than she is. And Ethel. Now, Emmanuel was the oldest boy. Ethel was the oldest girl. I think Ethel must have been. No, he was the oldest, and she was the next oldest. Ethel. And then Jabber. He was next. Then Nathaniel, and then Elijah, and then Akbar. No, Imam, and then Akbar. So it was, I think it was 8 of them.
Oh. Wow. You know their whole family.
Yes. Yeah,
close.
I'm close to the family. Simply because when Elijah Muhammad sent Imam Warith Deen Muhammad to Philadelphia, my mother was, you know, he taught my mother and family.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my sisters used to watch, one of my sisters used to watch the oldest girl, his oldest girl, and the boys. And then when I visited, we'd go and visit, I would talk to the boys, his boys and stuff.
Alhamdulillah. But back when Elijah Muhammad passed, what was the atmosphere like?
Everybody didn't believe it.
They didn't believe
They
it.
just thought he would live forever.
Oh,
That's just how much faith that they had. It was strong for Elijah Muhammad. They didn't believe that he was dead.
hmm. Okay.
So, but you know, uh, we kind of thought that too. But you know, nobody. We just found nobody lives forever.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Right.
and it was just a bad day. It was a bad time.
I have one question. I have another question before I ask this other question. But I know in the Nation of Islam, they taught that Farad was God in a person.
Yeah, that's what they said.
How was your take on that?
Well, I when I was little, I read the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I realized Mama, he gave all of us a Quran.
Mm-hmm.
I read the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't believe it,
Mm-hmm.
but because they said it, I accepted it, but I didn't believe it.
You didn't believe it wasn't anything you put your firm faith in.
No.
You just went along, but you seen what they was actually doing as far as community and
Yeah,
helping.
yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. But I didn't believe it. But then I met him.
Mm-hmm.
I met him in person.
Okay. But did he act as if he believed that himself?
No.
Okay.
He just happened. See, what happened, the Imam said one time on one of his announcements, he said, I can pick up the phone. They called Dr. Farad.
Yes, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yes, yes.
Dr. Farad was in California, in
Ah.
Oakland.
Oh,
That little man that wear that was Dr. Farad.
oh, okay.
You remember who he was?
I haven't met him. I haven't seen him, but I know Farad. I know his.
But he wasn't, it's Dr. You remember his brother Abdullah? Abdullah, the Imam? In Oakland?
No, I didn't know him.
Okay, he was Dr. Farad.
Oh.
And he came to visit us in Kansas City. He was visiting Nathaniel because he needed to talk to him.
Yeah.
And he stopped and he talked to me. He kissed my hand and he said, Ellen was a beautiful person.
Alhamdulillah.
So I did meet Dr. Farad.
Wow. You hear a lot of stuff. And it seemed like when he left and gone forever.
Yeah.
You know.
But see, he left the community, but he really didn't go nowhere. He went to California.
Okay.
And see, he taught Imam Warith Deen Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
Arabic and everything. He taught him.
Okay.
And then I was blessed to meet him.
Alhamdulillah. You what was your when Imam Muhammad was elected as the Imam or the leader? Did you accept it immediately?
Yes.
You've always supported him since then?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because of the fact that, because Sister Vanadad had told me what Dr. Farad said, and how special he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
And Nathaniel was upset, but
Did
he was my minister, but I supported it wholeheartedly because we were there when they accepted, and it just brought the house down when they put him up on their shoulders.
When you say you was there, where was there?
Well, actually, what happened? Nathaniel went to Chicago, so we had to stay there at the temple, in Kansas City. But we had the movies thing.
Yeah, you had video.
Yeah, the video
feed. I see.
When they accepted it.
So they accepted him in Chicago?
Yes.
Okay. How was it brought out? It's like, well, we made a decision, or we elected, or we got all the numbers from around the country. How was it brought out that he was elected?
Well, I think it was said that he was destined to be the leader anyway. And all of the imams agreed with it, the ministers.
Okay.
They agreed that he should be the leader.
Alhamdulillah.
Because
So it was
the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made it known that he would be the leader if anything happened to him.
Okay. Wow. You said a lot. You went through all my questions. I did tell you it's gonna be short. Are you getting tired?
No?
You okay? Okay. Um, all right. I'm gonna ask you this question, and I see that you have some history in seeing leaders being made, and you have that vision as far as you can see, as far as a good sound leader. Now, I want you talking to me now. Well, you talking to everybody else, but I want to know.
Yes, sir.
All right, but um, in a leader, what do you see as far as in a leader to be? I'm going to say successful. What do you see um, in the characteristic?
My concept of a leader is one that has to be strong, one that don't falter when you're under hardship or test, and learning what the Quran says that you'll be tested at least two times a year now. You have to be strong at all times. And when we falter, like you were saying today, we ask Allah to give us what we need. You know, the leaders today, we need to depend on Allah more for what we need. Because He'll bring us who we need when we need the help. But if we would learn how to ask Allah for what we need and then leave it alone and let Allah give it to us in the time that He think we need it, we would always be successful.
Be successful.
Yes, that's what we need today.
Have you seen that type of personality, like in those leaders in the past? I know you say your father. It sounded like he was a good, strong
Yes.
man.
My father, he was like that because the women that surrounded him were like that. His grandmother, his great-grandmother, his aunts, oh my God. Because his mother and her sisters, they were strong. My grandmother had 19 children. They were step as far as my father was concerned, but she had 19 children.
Did you see that type of characteristic in Elijah Muhammad?
Oh yeah, yes. As a matter of fact, I had to tell my brother, because when they found out that he had 8 wives, they were just, they just said, oh, well, what is it? They thought about it sexually, but it wasn't sexual. He needed those 8 women to do what he had to do as a leader. Because Nathaniel was something like that. Every avenue that he had a woman there to help him with it, because it was a natural thing. His uncle told me one time, he said, men get jealous of each other. So when they get jealous of each other, they pull each other down.
Right.
So that's why Honorable Elijah Muhammad had all them women to help him.
Okay. Did you see these same qualities in Imam Warith Deen Muhammad?
Yes.
But
he was special. He's special. He don't need 8 wives. And he wanted to do the right thing anyway, because he studied our people. He studied our people more than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he wanted to change our people because the way that our men were treated back then. And there's so many things that affected him that he wanted to do something, just like Marcus Garvey, because he was with the Marcus Garvey movement. He went to Noble Drew Ali. Just all the things that tie in with African Americans and what our people have gone through. And he was the son of a minister too, Elijah Muhammad.
Right.
So that's where I think that he felt that he wanted to help his people. Like all of us that have a potential to do something, and they see the things that's happened to our people through the years by other people. And now it just seems like our people have just given up. You don't see them anymore.
Right.
In the jobs. What happened to them?
I don't know.
Our men especially. It's just...
I think she's getting
That's why I should wait.
Oh, okay.
But,
All right, I'm almost finished.
okay.
Um. Oh, well, you just answered that question. Okay. I got some on the foot here. Um. Oh, okay. All right, you had some criticism there, but do you see anything that we have as a present community? Do you see anything in there that we're doing well?
Well, yes. I think more and more we're beginning to come together to do what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
We have more professionals now
Mm-hmm.
that's doing things. Our younger people are standing up doing things.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of them, just a few,
Mm-hmm.
but at least it's a start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's our young people that needs to take over now and start doing things. And they've been taught, they've seen,
Mm-hmm.
so it just has to come together like that.
And when we remember you, what would you like us to know or think about you? As far as your contribution.
Well, I'm more like a strict disciplinarian in things, you know. I'm kind of strict
Kind of straight.
about things. And like, I've affected a few people because they've come and told me how I've helped them to do things, you know, coming to the community, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if anything happened to me, they'll remember the good and the bad, I guess.
Mm.
But then more good.
More good. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, because I've tried to do the right thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it all goes back to how I was brought up and what has happened in my life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, more than ever, I read Quran
Mm-hmm.
and I'm learning more myself to let Allah handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I don't care how old you get,
Mm-hmm.
you can always learn to be a better person.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. And do you have anything to say? Anything. I mean, it don't have to be involved around my questions. Anything.
What I would like to say is for the young people to, whatever you have as a young person, try to get another young person to see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to remember that when Allah brought the Quran down to Prophet Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him, he said, read in the name of your Lord, read. If we read and take the message out, that's all we have to do, because we can't change anyone's life.
Mm-hmm.
We can't change anybody's thinking. We have to give them, excuse me.
Okay.
What we have to do is just give them the word,
Mm-hmm.
be good examples, and Allah will take care of the rest.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that recently. And all through my life, even though I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, I've always prayed to Allah for guidance. And for 20 years, I beat up on myself because I didn't want to do the wrong thing coming into our community.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I said, I'm tired of all of this mess out there in that world.
Mm-hmm.
I need to come in and start doing things. So I've been doing things since that time, but now I'm older. And since I've been in Mississippi, I've found a new life. I'm teaching children in school, public school, a substitute teacher. I never thought I would do that, but I enjoy it. And I said, that's what Allah must want me to do. Wherever I've been, Detroit, Kansas City, Philadelphia, New Jersey, wherever I've been, I've always asked Allah, wherever you want me to be and whatever you want me to do. So when I do something, I say, well, I guess that's what Allah want me to do.
Okay.
So that's the way I'm living now. And Allah has really shown me that if you do call on Him, He'll give it to you. That's right. I'll tell you, I didn't even know how I was going to make it sometime.
Mm-hmm.
That first year down in Mississippi, because I
Yeah.
couldn't get a job, no money,
Mm-hmm.
and I thank Allah for my sisters, because they helped me. And some brothers helped me. Not my blood brother, but some other brothers have helped me. But I didn't know how I was going to make it, because I couldn't get a job. I mean, I'd go out looking for a job. They'd look at me and think, oh, well, who's this? I didn't look like a Mississippian. I didn't talk like one either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was tested. But because I put my faith in Allah and some good Muslim families down there and people up here helped me out, I made it. Alhamdulillah. So I really called on Allah to help me out for many things. And all through my life, when I found out that Allah was God, and I said, well, Jesus, I have to leave you now. Which my mother never forced us into Christian religion, so we were never Christians.
Okay.
Anyway.
But you do have some affiliation?
Oh, yeah. We
Christianity?
used to go to the Bible schools, and we had a preacher right across the street from where we lived. Dr. Sullivan became a great man in Philadelphia. Dr. Sullivan, you heard of Sullivan?
I haven't heard that name sound familiar, but
Because
I can't.
he was he started this movement here. We're helping. But anyway, he liked my brother Omar. And we used to go to the church, and I'd talk to him and his wife when they first came to the church. And we went out and greeted them and talked to them. Yeah, just the way we are. We was kids, too.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
that's all right.
We just have, I feel blessed as an individual to be around such great people. We're so near the Imam that people that they don't even have that opportunity to be so close to a man as great as Imam Warith Deen Muhammad.
I was winding down on the questions, but you know Imam Muhammad.
Yes.
Can you express what you see in him? Because I see some stuff in him as far as the way he expressed himself, but I want to know how you see him.
Well,
I know you. I think you probably hit on it, but can you?
I think the Imam is a great spiritual leader. Great spiritual leader. I think people don't take him that way because he's not one that's aggressive like we usually see some of the leaders. But he takes his time. He'll think about things first. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad always told us to think before you act. The Quran tells us that. And Allah always gives him the answers that he needs. And I've sat down with him and see how some of the brothers that work with him, they go ahead of him because they think, well, he must not can answer this. They just don't know. He's a man of God. That's what I think. And I've sat down and I've looked at him and I've talked to him, and he's a beautiful brother. Beautiful. He likes to have a good time. You know, he's not so spiritual that he don't have a good time. Right. He likes music. He likes different things in life. And that makes for a full life. The Prophet was like that too. Yeah. So I love Imam Warith Deen Muhammad, and we have to take more time out to look at him and see how great man he is. He's a great thinker, wonderful thinker. Allah has blessed him. We have a blessed man in our midst. Just many of us don't know. And he's so knowledgeable about everything.
Yeah, you're right.
As far as our people are concerned, and everybody else.
Yes,
This man has more posts. I don't even know how he do it. He's chairman of a lot of things in worldwide. He is, and he's held in high esteem. But our own people don't see that. The ones that he's trying to get to do things, you don't see it. Our men need to straighten up. The women know it already. The men need to know it. That he's our leader, and if we just do what he say, we'll be on top. He said we'll be on top overnight.
Well, I want to thank you for giving me your time.
Yes, sir.
I really appreciate it. I'm pretty sure others will appreciate it. Um, if when they sit down and view the tape, inshallah everything turned out okay. Because I had some problems with some other tape from some other interviews. But may Allah, continue to bless you and protect you and guide you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in a place where it's just not hard to remember a lot.
Mm.
In New Medina,
Mhm.
it's quiet and peaceful.
Mm.
Everybody tries to work together,
Mm.
and it's just good.
Sound like somewhere I want to go.
Yeah, it is. We need youth down there because everybody's getting old down there. Need some young blood to come in and get it going.
And energized,
Because
huh?
Dr. Ali's, he's still young and he got a lot of plans.
Mm.
So we need somebody to come down and help get those plans implemented.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. All right. Let me get I want to get a picture of you. Let me do a little quick zoom. And let me get out my camera. I want to get a picture of you.
Maybe we can put it in our library too, because we got a library down
Oh, you do?
there. Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go. All right, let me get one more. Right, gonna charge up. Let me get a big shot. There we go. All right, here we go. You said we have a library here? You talking about this one in here?
No, we got a library in New Medina.
Oh,
Because we got the Sister Thuriyyah Muhammad and the Deen Muhammad High School there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, I tell you what.